Welcome to PvP, Pitch versus Pitch, the show where three idiot gamers pitch incredible video game concepts on inconceivable topics in search of that sweet, buttery, elusive Greenlight. I'm Chris, producer at large here at WatchMojo.
I am Dan, and I did not agree to the idiot gamer title.
Kyle?
Oh, hi, I am an idiot. I'm Kyle.
There we go. Doesn't even have a title.
Perfect. Okay, so we know how this works, but here's how it works. It's the first episode. I should explain it. The three of us here, we're going to pitch each other video game concepts on predetermined topics. We'll debate their merits, and then you, the listeners, the viewers, will vote on whose pitches were the strongest. I'll give you some info on that a little later on. On the agenda today, we've got pitches for Bruce Willis, the Moon, and International Women's Day. 3 topics, as always. But first, I want to know what games we're playing this week. Dan, what are you playing?
Oh, I am playing the extremely realistic, and don't say otherwise, recreation of medieval Bohemia, known as Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's blowing up the Steam charts these days with its myriad of glitches and strange social questions that it asks about what historical accuracy really means.
That's
anyway,
the only thing I've read about it is that it's also bringing up like these social issues, like conservative
yeah,
politics.
but you know what? Just get out of there because
yeah.
That's there. But it's a fun game. I mean, it's in practice, it plays a lot like a really, really, really well done realism mod for Oblivion, not Skyrim,
No.
because it's got that old school Oblivion jank.
Nice.
But it's interesting. I've played it for like 6 hours and I have done dick all. So we'll see where it goes from there.
That's a good sign when you can play a game for that long and not do anything. Kyle, what are you playing?
I actually kickstarted that Kingdom Come game, but I haven't gone in yet because I feel like with any open world game, you got to give it 6 months of patches before you even start.
I love that idea in theory, but
So,
I'm so impatient about waiting for things. So
You're an early supporter, late adopter. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege's new content because they just dropped this like Left 4 Dead free DLC stuff, and it's very strange for Rainbow Six to start having weird alien zombies in it. But listen, it works. It's a good model. It's really fun. And also, I'm addicted to PUBG. I can never stop playing that game. I just assume when you ask someone what they're playing, like PUBG is there in the background because we're all addicted to dinners. Because I think there's no greater glory in gaming than getting a solo dinner in PUBG right now. Like what hits that same feeling in another game?
Victory Royale in Fortnite?
Round? Yeah, sure, Fortnite. I think of those as kind of like the same thing.
Same thing. Sorry, I'm being a smartass. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You play it on PC
Like
or
what
Xbox?
PC.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get your Steam info, bro. You can squad
Oh,
up.
I can't believe we haven't done Duo.
Oh, they're becoming friends.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Me, I'm still playing The Witcher. I took a brief break because I thought maybe I'd try out some of the Telltale Games Michonne Walking Dead stuff, but I think I don't want my choices to have consequences. I think is really like I get enough of that in life.
I have some bad news for you about The Witcher in that case.
Oh, that's true. Oh god.
Like, The Witcher is essentially a Telltale game with a complete other game attached to it. It's like a full role-playing game with Telltale.
Yeah, but at least I can brew potions and go see the whores and whatever else they get up to there. So it looks like we got a bit of lag on Kyle's video stream, but hey, we're hearing his audio okay. I hope that's not too off-putting to viewers, but there it is. All right, that's out of the way. Welcome everyone. Let's pitch. For each of these pitches, y'all can go to watchmojo.com/suggest and find the PvP episode 1 page and vote on which pitch you think deserves the green light. And you can even leave a comment and tell us why. All right, first up is Bruce Willis. How about we go Dan, and then me, and then Kyle?
Sure. Okay. So my working titles are Bruce Willis, Tantrum with a Vengeance, or Slack Off with a Vengeance. But I feel like Tantrum with a Vengeance is it's got a little more punch. Okay, so picture The Sims, but you're only controlling Bruce Willis on the set of his new movie, or new movies, because each level could be a movie. Now, it's well known that Bruce Willis is really hard to work with. and he prefers to do very little, especially lately. He's getting a bit more lazy. There's all these shots of him, like, of his stand-in, that, like, in clear shots in one of his recent straight to DVD or straight to streaming films. Anyway, so the objective of the game would be to balance how much time you spend in your trailer and alienating your co-stars with how close you can get to straight up being fired without being actually fired from the film. Now, you lose if you get fired, and like in XCOM, a loss could result in future difficulty. Like there'll be more experienced handlers on set next time. Your contract will be negotiated for lower, etc., etc. Now, there's a couple of little angles here. You would include cultivating a good relationship with your stand-in and your stunt double would help increase your score because you could get them to fill those elusive wide shots. Berating stagehands and extras for looking at you in the eye would help, your alienation level, giving you an excuse to throw a tantrum and leave. Now, each level could be a different acting role. So you start off with a cameo, a bit part, and then that's the opening level, and then it slowly builds up to ensemble pieces, with the final level culminating in a new Die Hard movie, obviously. Then external factors could be introduced at random, like your stuntman could become disfigured during a stunt, meaning that he can't fill in the wide shots, or co-stars that you hate could be introduced, culminating in a final boss confrontation with Ashton Kutcher for the final Die Hard film. So yeah, that's my thing. You just gotta Bruce it up.
Nice.
How we thinking about that? Any questions?
So the title is Tantrum with a Vengeance?
Tantrum with a Vengeance.
Okay. And so you're thinking that you said like in XCOM, when you do badly, things get harder for you later on. I always found that a weird mechanic,
It's tough. I mean, the developers themselves have talked about how if you're doing badly, it becomes a cycle, and if you're doing well, that becomes a cycle. So these graphs are hard to change the trajectory of. But I think, Bruce Willis is spiraling out of control as we speak, right? So I think that sort of fits this type of game, or the theme thereof.
Well defended.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As an actor, I'm curious about how you would handle the scenes where he's actually in scenes. Do you have a mini game there for how to make Bruce Willis act well or act poorly, or is it all just sort of Sims style automatic and it's about filling bars?
I think it could be coming back to the Telltale thing. There could be dialogue options where you negotiate with the director or the DP. You're like, you know what? I think we should do this with a wide shot, and then bam, you could swap in your stand-in or your stunt double. I like that.
Yeah.
Or you could just simply or there could be a meter, a power meter where you're trying to lock eyes with an extra, and then as soon as you lock eyes with the extra, you lose it on him, and then you can leave.
Yeah. I think a good way to portray Bruce's acting style in a video game, if there's a mini game where you have to act, it would be button mashing.
It would be button and
just mash the buttons
just for the lines on his forehead. It'd be no, they're straightening out. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The more you
the game
mash
should
the
ship with one of those things you use at the gym to make your grip stronger, and the stronger the better acting that he's doing, the stronger more intense he is.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I could see how Fallout had the Fallout Shelter. Was it Shelter? The Vault?
Yeah. Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter. It was kind of like a side game connected to that world on a mobile thing. I could see the mobile thing in this. You play as his PR person, right?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what the gameplay is yet. What do you think about that?
That's sort of what I was going for. Either you're playing as Bruce himself, or you're playing as his agent that's desperately trying to put good things in his way, or and remove those external factors that cause him to get fired, of course.
I think that's the game. That's really compelling. I haven't actually ever seen a PR simulator before where you have this nightmare of a person that you just have to clean up after constantly. That sounds good.
Yeah, you're sort of orbiting around him, trying your best to get things out of the way of this wrecking ball of a human.
Maybe it's like an asymmetrical co-op. One person plays as the agent, another person plays as Bruce.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, this idea is evolving in real time. I wouldn't even give it the green light myself because I think we can find a better one here.
All right. Well,
that's perfect. It embraces the trolling in multiplayer gaming. One guy's just got a troll. All he's doing is messing up the game for the other guy.
And then
picking up the pieces.
And by really trolling, if you're the Bruce Willis, you troll by actually doing your job well is to be like, oh, you filmed that scene without incident, you fail.
I like the idea of like a special challenge for each mission is like you have to find a way to convince the director to do something totally absurd, you know, like no, I should be wearing flippers in the scene. It'll be funny.
Really throw him for a Brando loop.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, you know what? Look, I'm ready to give this a green light. We've been talking about it for like 5 minutes, and we have like a dozen different games here. I'm ready to green light this and put it in development hell.
Put it in development hell.
Well, yeah, there's so many different ways you could go with it.
Right.
We're never going to decide on a way forward.
Fair.
Kyle?
Fair.
I'm going to green light 3 of the ideas we mentioned and red light 2 of them.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, let's not get into which. Okay, so that was Tantrum with a Vengeance, Bruce Willis. Here's what I got. It's called The Life of Bruno. Okay, so I wanted to create a game that paralleled Bruce's career and his life. And I heard him recently on some talk show. And by the way, he's just a mess in interviews now. He's a terrible guest. He's barely intelligible. He gets distracted by himself on the monitor. But one thing he mentioned is that he always wanted to be a blues singer, right? But he failed at that. You know, he did have a couple of terrible albums in the 80s.
There's a music video too.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen this, look it up. It's awful. The Return of Bruno was the album in 1987, and this game is The Life of Bruno. So, in this game, you play as Bruno Billbastard. Okay? He's a real screw-up, a miserable young dude. He comes from poverty. That's not his fault, but he comes from poverty. He has no chance of getting anywhere in life. He can't even hold down a proper drug addiction, let alone a job, right? Except he can sure play the guitar, and he can blow the mouth harp like the wind. And he's got blues in his soul. So he becomes a blues man. So part of the gameplay is, you know, pressing buttons rhythmically a la Guitar Hero or Parappa the Rapper, and making up lyrics at the same time through timed dialogue trees. And I figure the way that blues works, that works kind of well. You know, it's like and then a line, and a line. So that kind of fits. Now, to make a good song, you have to nail your blues guitar solos and have coherent, sad, alcoholic bastard blues lyrics. The other half of the game is there's cutscenes, you know, that sort of document his career, but also mini games that are like the depressing odd jobs that I imagine bluesmen have to do to stay alive, like digging ditches, seducing wealthy dowagers who like slumming it, court-mandated garbage collection, that sort of thing. So you play through his entire career. There's a storyline in there with a divorce, and you have multiple daughters, but they get no attention from the narrative. Like, not even their births get cut scenes, you know? It's just like they kind of pop up occasionally. Though late in the game, there's the subplot where they start posing in nude photos. So if you play that side quest, then you have to or get to see that, depending on how you see it. But here's how this is really a Bruce Willis game.
Okay, because that was going to be my question. I was like, you got to bring it back to the Brucey.
Yeah, so it's more thematically related, right? Not only because he wanted to be a blues guy, but early in your blues career, you have to work really, really hard, and your songs have to have a high level of proficiency to them. You know, you have to get a very high score. Otherwise, people will never hear about you. You'll never have any chance of success, and you'll never unlock more stages in your career. And this is like being an actor, right, Kyle? Like you got to work your ass off just to get anywhere, right?
Speaking my language, bro. Yes.
Yep. So like early on in the game, you may need to get like a 95% score on a level, right? But as you go on, you get older, you get a bit more renowned. Life takes more of a toll on you. Your brain works slower, and so making good songs is more difficult. Okay, so it's actually harder to like hit the notes at the right time and choose, you know, good dialogue trees. But the bar for passing the levels gets much lower.
Okay, right. Okay, so yeah,
exactly.
He's an old guy. You don't like, you know, he had some hits.
Exactly. Like, it's hard for him to make, you know, Die Hard with a Vengeance 11 or whatever they're at now. But no one expects very much from him, you know, and that's what I'm mirroring here. So you basically get to coast through the latter part of the game, to the point where you can just like make dumb faces and mumble gibberish, and everyone's like, "Yep, good enough. I remember him from when he was great, and now I'm seeing him."
He's a big star.
He's a big star.
So it actually, the difficulty level overall, it goes down as the game goes on. Like you can just mess up all the notes at the end and people will still clap before the song's over because it's Bruce playing the guitar.
Yeah, it starts out as like really a satisfying, challenging game experience and sort of devolves into like a meditation on...
Why are you even doing this, bro?
Yeah.
Why do we continue?
Yeah. So the final stages are just replaying the early challenging levels, but with your end game stats and requirements. Oof. You know, just like, you know, he's rebooting, just like they're all rebooting all these, you know, movies from earlier in the career. It's literally impossible for you to succeed like you did the first time, but it's fun for the audience to relive the old days. In fact, in the later levels, you'll see some NPCs from the early stages, like at your final shows. People who were drunks and whores, now they have their life together, and they're there with their adult children. You know, it looks like they're enjoying themselves. And the way I see it, seeing them, their success and their happiness is finally what pushes Bruno over the edge, and he ends up killing himself.
Oh man, spoilers.
That's the end.
Wow, and that's unavoidable, huh? No matter how good or bad you do in the game.
Well, if you play the game long enough and well enough, then yeah, you die.
This started dark and got darker. I'm not gonna lie. Like we started, you know, pretty dark territory, and now this is just plumbing the depths.
Oh, I haven't even told you about the peripherals that I envision. I can see a harmonica peripheral, you know, a harmonica controller.
Right.
Like,
okay.
You know, you control it by blowing in it. And I know the technology exists because I've seen controllers that are adapted to people with handicaps who have to blow in them, you know?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I figured, like, why should paraplegics have all the fun?
You should also release that game on a cartridge so you have to start by blowing into it and then...
I didn't mean that thing about paraplegics.
That was...
It came out wrong. That came out
awful.
That came out
I
wrong.
jumped in trying to save you, but I'm glad you addressed it.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm not sure if we captured it, but the look on his face as he realized that was not a good joke.
Well, the look on you, that was coming off of your face. It was Dan going... I know that face.
Well, Chris, I like the idea of a rhythm game that has a story attached to it, because I feel like that was never a thing. When you play Guitar Hero, you're just, you know, you're playing Sweet Home Alabama, and then that's the end of it. But I'd like the idea that Sweet Home Alabama is a torturous place for you, and going back there could lead to your own death. So I would want to greenlight this.
Yeah, I see some potential. I'd like to see a few more drafts. I'm pretty stingy with my budget these days. We're sticking to the... We're not doing many more experimental pieces in my publishing studio.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
Chris.
I understand. I mean, there's the possibility that you release some DLC.
Okay. Monetization. I like that.
Exactly.
This makes it a little more sweeter.
Not only that, but it was kind of like the Rainbow Six Siege tie-in that Kyle mentioned earlier. You can actually have songs about other properties, you know? So if it's like a Left 4 Dead crossover, you have Bruno singing, you know, the
No Health Pack Blues.
No Health Pack Blues, you know, the Screamer's Lament. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Drinking with a Hunter. I'm just spitballing the different titles.
If you can think up some better ways to incrementally monetize this, I think we're gonna be going somewhere. But until then, I have to hold my hand off the Greenlight button.
All right. Well, that's tough, but fair. I understand. Kyle, where are you at?
KG.
Okay, I went on a little bit of a journey because I couldn't decide. I started out thinking about a point-and-click adventure game where you're Bruce Willis and you're on a pixel hunt looking for your lost hair, but I thought that was a cheap shot, so I'm not going to go there. I then started thinking about like a looper video game because a story-based shooter like BioShock I feel like could work really well in that setting, and Looper is just such a cool sci-fi world. But that would like take a lot of money, and I know it's hard to greenlight a AAA story-based shooter. So what I ended up deciding on was a celebrity child name generator inspired by Bruce Willis's children, name of Scout, Rumor, and Tallulah. Those are his real children's names. And I thought you could just, if you're a prospective parent, you just go like, oh, Bruce Willis has a really cool life with a lot of money. I want my children to have a life like that. And you just go and click on his face, and then he spits out baby names for you like Braxley or like Charlesley or Jerica or Lakin or Cabrin or Tanifer, any cool name that's going to set your child up for like a future of celebrity wealth.
I'd really like a few more names that are actual English words but are used like rumor. You know, it's just like,
I made the same mistake.
There's my child, Suspicion, or there's.
I went down that path too when I heard the name Rumor, but it's actually spelled Rumer, so it's like closer to a tuber or like a ground vegetable than it is.
But right there,
awesome.
Tuber Willis.
Yeah.
Tuber Willis, I think, is a good name.
Tuber's great. We'll put that into the algorithm, and that'll be one of the names that he can spit out.
All right, this sounds like a pretty low budge project with that you could market.
It's a browser-based game.
Yeah, and you can market it to a pretty high income bracket, I think, because you know. These are the type of people that like to name their kids like Spatula and North, whatever. So I'm ready to buy right now.
I think the key is
it's $40 to develop this game.
$40.
That's all it's going to take.
What I would do is, I think the key to this is being first to market. What I would do is I would up the budget and get some real A-list talent involved, right? Like I think like get Gwyneth Paltrow.
What I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Get Gwyneth.
You know, make this a Goop property, sell it to them.
Get the egg snatch people on here.
Exactly. You know, this is
so really... you're like, you go to the webpage and you're seeing faces of a lot of different celebrities and they've all endorsed this product, and you can click on each face and you get a name that's inspired by their children's name. So like Gwyneth's, you're going to get like pear and stuff like that, and eggplant as child names.
Better yet, you could select a bunch and the algorithm could craft the names based on those. So, you know, you can click on the Kanye, you can click on Bruce, you can click on, although I really like the whole rumor thing being the pillar.
I mean, what if, you know, you can choose like to click on any one of them, and that's like $200 per name, you know, and that's like the name. Or you can say, I want it to be like half Bruce, a quarter Kanye, and a quarter Gwyneth.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the AI algorithm
like a
matches it together.
Of terrible names.
Exactly. I think that's it. I mean, in a way, like this is cheaper because you're not spending hundreds of dollars on baby name books and wasting hours going through those. You know, you just get the celebrities who know better than you to name your kid. I'm down.
Because if there's one thing we've learned from just human history is that celebrities know and are better than you.
Yeah.
This is true.
That's the subtext here. That's the insight that we're drafting off of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really liked that one.
Yep.
Do we have a name for that yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just had Celebrity Child Name Generator, but that doesn't really have a nice ring to it.
Celebrity Child Name Generator.
Singa.
Yeah.
Kyle, I'm about to withdraw my green light here.
I mean, it's ironic that I don't have a name for a name generator.
Child name.
Yeah. How about Celebrica?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Celebrica, I think. And you know what? That wow, that's got a good ring to it. Celebrica.
Totally. I feel like that's one that Kanye and Kim would spit out.
Hey, before we move on, can we give like just a little bit of respect to the 1996 Die Hard arcade cabinet? Did you guys ever play that game?
No, I never played that one.
No.
Oh man, that was huge in my childhood. It was like a beat 'em up game with like really low poly count, and you just get dropped on top of the Die Hard building, and it pretty much starts like Die Hard, and then you end up fighting like firemen and robots, and it makes no sense, but it's super fun. Look it up if you haven't played it.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks for the suggestion. Okay, guys, that's Bruce Willis. Remember that you can go to watchmojo.com/suggest and find the PvP episode 1 page and vote for who you think did that best. Guys, we're moving on from Bruce Willis to our next topic.
The moon.
The moon.
We can start with mine, just
ahead.
as a little appetizer or warm-up. Anyone ever play the old Lunar Lander game? You know, where it's like really old. Like we're talking like monochrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, for those of you who don't know, you're just a little lunar lander, and you got to feather your thrusters, and it's very hard. You're just crashing all the time. Okay, so for my idea for the moon, it's essentially the same game, except you are the moon, and you have to feather your gravitational pull in order to kill the astronauts. So you're just they're very good at landing, and you have to like suddenly like spike the gravity and like pull them into a crater and kill them. So yeah, and then like later stages could have more advanced astronauts, or the astronauts could be landing faster. So yeah, you're the moon. You got to kill those astronauts. I've always thought of the moon as a vengeful celestial presence, personally, but that's just me, and that's for a different podcast.
What was that, Kyle?
I'm wondering if it's a multiplayer game or if you're playing against an AI.
You could do asymmetrical PvP here, where your buddy is playing as the lander and you are playing as the moon. But
I see potential there.
There's definitely some potential there. But like I said, I just like the idea of killing astronauts.
Yep, browser based.
Yeah, I think we could do it. Mobile platforms. Can really go any indie platform you're thinking of. This game's got legs, man. It can go almost anywhere.
Can the moon level up and get new ways of killing the lander? Like, can you throw asteroids? Can you maybe have like aliens happen and then they attack it, or is it just super basic?
I like the idea of just a couple of power-ups. Like, so like you're like, oh god, this guy's close, asteroid. Like, like a one-time use thing, kind of like an oh shit card. But yeah, mostly it would really be about that feathering skill with your gravitational pull.
Oh, it's like Flappy Bird. Like, you have to get really good at a very difficult thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Didn't I hear you say this is like one of the first games you ever played was Lunar Lander?
No, it was that Mac game where like hay drop, where there was like a little guy, there was a little horse-drawn carriage pulling hay, and you had a helicopter, and you had to drop a dude off the helicopter at the right time, so he would hit my mic here, so he would land in the hay. But I really liked that. I would laugh maniacally when I'd kill the dude.
I could see this as a simple game, especially if you could reskin it to be like, and this is the Burger King sponsored one, and it's a Whopper trying to land on the moon, but the moon eats the Whopper before the. No, okay, that logic kind of falls apart there. I'm just spitballing, but what I'm seeing is I'm seeing potential for monetization.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd be interested in greenlighting it if it was a simple iPhone game or Android game. I think that's where it works best because of the tapping, because there's only two inputs, like left or right or whatever. And I could totally see that working on that platform. Elsewhere, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, okay. I could totally see this as an iPad game or on the Nintendo Switch.
It's always how I envisioned it.
Okay. All right, Greenlight. Perfect.
Yep, easy green.
The moon. It controls the brightness of the night, the tides, the bounty of the harvest, the puissance of our bard's tales, the robustness of the veil between our realm and the realm of isolation, and so on, right? I don't know if you guys go on Reddit very much, but people are sick of the moon. They're sick of it having so much power over mankind and giving it nothing in return. So everyone hates the moon.
It's true, I have seen these subreddits.
But does anyone do anything about it? No. But what if... Yes. That's the timeless human desire at the heart of my game, Chris Sid Meier Mason's Lunar Showdown. In Chris Sid Meier Mason's Lunar Showdown, you play as the head of an organization whose noble mission it is to replace the moon.
Okay, so let me just make sure I got that right. To replace it, not destroy.
Replace. Now, it may involve destroying, it may involve retrofitting, but replace it. Okay, so now to do so, there are multiple paths that you can take. It's I'm still working out exactly how this is, but I see it as like a hybrid turn-based and real-time strategy game, like Civilization, but with some real-time stuff. And like that series, there are multiple paths to the ultimate goal of replacing the moon. You can manipulate politics and sway public opinion, invest in branches of engineering and science, develop innovative designs, wage military campaigns, enlist the forces of Umbutelka, the many-guild god of mushrooms, trap Noorskin, the undimmed, to coerce his legions of lightbenders to construct a four-lane lunar ladder, and so on. Now you can control multiple different organizations, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. You can play as the Secretary General of the UN, for instance. Now, the UN, right, they're very slow to implement any change or plan. So the early part of the game is slow. A lot of planning and consensus building, but your resources are pretty much infinite. So it favors like a conservative, lawful, good play style. You can play as an entrepreneur billionaire like Richard Branson or Elon Musk. Your resource base is a little more unstable, but you're more agile in your decision making. So if you like an unpredictable gameplay experience that could be rocked by scandal, or if you're a big fan of neoliberalism, then like this is the character for you to play as. You can also play as Prince Malak Khan, hallowed be his name, who will mobilize the holy forces contained in the Church of the Arcane Energy. So obviously, His Holiness gets huge bonuses because his followers are so fervent and righteous. And of course, like his venerated father before him, he can call upon powers of the arcane at will. So if you're logical, socially conscious, a fair person, you love your fellow man, and believe that the arcane devil moon should be smited and its ashes banished to the realm of isolation, and that all your ancestors should have a place reserved for them alongside Prince Malak Khan, hallowed be his name, and his holy royal entourage in a glorious lunar kingdom, then you are my brother, and this is the character for you to play. Peace be upon you.
Wow.
I know.
That was a journey to the moon and back, figurative though
Chris,
it may
I
have
thought
been.
we had agreed not to let personal politics interfere with our pitches, and I feel like you're maybe bleeding a couple worlds together here. I like your idea. It just seems like I've heard you talk about the Prince before and the Arcane Host.
That would
and
be his name.
I know. I just feel like sometimes we don't need that to come into every one of your video game pitches every time we do this podcast.
We
Okay.
went over this in rehearsal. Man.
Okay, no, I'm okay. I hear that. You don't want this to get overly political. Dan cut off a political conversation before, and I that's good. Keep that out of video games. But like, this is coming from my own personal experience. You know, I'm not here to debate or convince anyone of the righteousness of Prince Malak Khan, or you know, the
Okay, well, to
righteousness
test
of the
that
arcane
theory.
energy. I'm sorry.
So to test that theory, you did mention a military branch to victory in this game.
Yeah.
Can I create a nuke and destroy the moon?
I mean, that seems futile because a single nuke won't destroy the moon,
Yeah,
right?
haven't you seen Armageddon with
Okay.
the thing, the firecracker?
And I mean, isn't it a lot more productive to like build something glorious upon the moon that can house, you know, people of great sophistication, wealth, and wisdom, and all your ancestors?
Okay, here's another question then. Are you able to be a moon conservationist and just be like, look, the moon's fine how it is?
Ooh, yeah, that would be a good character. In fact, you know, I've been thinking
different victory conditions with that.
Yeah, exactly. I've been thinking that maybe this is part of the DLC. Like Civ 5 went on for like how many years just releasing new game modes and DLC. I think that this could do the same thing. Oh, quick side note.
Okay, well, I'm heartened to hear that you're open to other points of view when it comes to ways that you can win the moon.
Yeah, I mean, look, would I play as anyone other than Prince Malak Khan? Well, no, not when he can harness the power of the arcane, is more charismatic than any billionaire you could put in front of him, and, you know, guarantees not just you, but your entire lineage of future and past ancestors a place beside him.
So listen. As long as the game is impartial and there are other routes to victory besides making the insane temple on the moon,
Hey.
I'm into this idea.
I don't appreciate the characterization of a holy lunar palace as insane, but thank you.
I too am a bit reluctant to Greenlight because I do not support Malak Khan the usurper. Nor do I recognize his position.
Oh!
And I think his arcane
Don't
magic.
start this. Look, we only have an hour here, guys. Let's
This is
forget
rich!
that.
This
Okay.
is rich!
Okay, rather than get bogged down in this,
Oh,
I think we're going to
can't
have to
believe
move
you
on and
just
hear
did that
Kyle's
to Chris.
pitch.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's move on. This is we greenlit Chris Sid Mason's Lunar Showdown. Oh, by the way, I need you guys to start calling me Sid Meier. It's my nickname. Chris Sid Mason. It'll add a lot to the game.
Sure, we'll see how that shakes out. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle.
Good gracious. Okay, my game. It's a little simpler. It's a dating simulator where you play as Michael Collins, the third member of the famous Apollo 11 mission that successfully landed on the moon. We all know the other two members being, of course, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, who were the first two humans to ever walk on the moon. So the goal of this dating simulator is to seduce Buzz and Neil over the course of your time together during training at NASA in order to lay the groundwork to eventually have thrilling, first time in human history, zero gravity sex in lunar orbit, leaving Buzz and Neil too sexually satisfied and exhausted to pilot the lunar module, at which point you, Michael Collins, take their place and achieve the honor of becoming the first man to ever set foot on the moon. Because he really got the short end of the stick. He was just driving the lunar module up there, never got to walk on it. Flew all the way, never got to walk on it. It sucks. So I'm thinking, you remember those ZeroG sequences in Dead Space 3 and how cool and realistic those were? It'll be like that, except instead of fighting necromorphs, you'd be boning down American space heroes Buzz and Neil. What do we think?
You had me at boning down American space heroes.
Oh, so I had you right at the very end.
Yeah, at the very end. But I was just like, oh, man, I don't know. Like, oh. That was it. That was that last little bit. Broke the surface tension. It's spilling over now. I'm there.
Awesome.
Yep. I'm into it. I love the concept. I think that I'm surprised that video games haven't explored sex in space yet.
They've explored.
I can't believe
Mass
humans
Effect,
haven't
that's all.
explored
of
sex
course.
in space.
Yeah, but I mean, sex in ZeroG
Okay, yeah.
is what I'm talking about. You know.
You ever see Supernova?
No.
It's a really, really bad movie. Don't watch it.
Okay.
But there's some ZeroG loving in that.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think in Moonraker maybe.
But by the way, what is the title of your thing?
The title is Balling Buzz and Nailing Neil.
Balling Buzz and Nailing Neil. All right. That's a good title.
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but you know what? It might be one of those PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds thing. It's just like it takes off despite the fact that it's a bit unyieldy.
Yeah. I mean, you could call us BBNN.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
BBNN.
Bubbanan.
BBNN.
Which
I do.
might double as some of the sound effects.
I do worry that it doesn't have much replay value. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's true. No, I was thinking of it as a story-based experience you go through once, and then we give the option of replaying the space sex scene as many times as you want.
Okay. What platform is it on?
I was hoping it would be on console so you could get the vibration from the controllers and use that
It's feedback. Nice.
as a little sensory feedback. Yeah.
Smart. Okay. You had me at sensory feedback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You're doing this. You're hitting all the right notes here, Kyle.
I'm a late bloomer. What can I say? It takes a while to warm up to my ideas.
Okay, that's a solid green light for me.
Yep. Green light. Wow, we have a
go.
exclusively green lights from the panel here.
Yeah.
So far.
we gotta up our game here. We're blowing through the budget. Maybe we'll be a little bit more stringent in this lightning round.
Yes, lightning round is all about International Women's Day. These are very fast pitches. Let's do it. Same order, Dan, me, Kyle.
Okay, International Women's Day. My game. It's literally Tetris, except each block is a shitty tweet from a guy complaining about International Women's Day. And your standard square blocks could be well actuallys, while the long blocks would be why isn't there an International Men's Day, for instance. Mm-hmm. And your goal is just to stack neat rows of shitty tweets in order to block them. And if the tweets stack up and hit the top, you've just been chased off Twitter, and that's it.
Nice.
That's it. There we go.
I like it. What if instead of like the lines...
I just need one more well actually, and then I can get rid of all of these damn... why isn't there International Men's Days?
Here's a quick idea that I think could add on to it. Instead of the lines all disappearing,
right.
when you make a complete line, what if it becomes a GIF? You know, a GIF of like Beyonce doing a thing, or then it's Mindy Kaling giving a funny line.
Could be good, or maybe they could be screenshotted. So like, be like boom, boom, boom. Oh, you've got a bunch of them screenshotted, so you could then tweet them out to that guy's friends and families and embarrass them or something like that.
I like it.
Okay,
Cool.
lightning round.
Sweet. Okay, here we go. My game is not so much a game as a patch. And it switches the posture and body language of every male and female hero. Right, so Geralt of Rivia now stands, like with his chest out, and like a shoulder down and hips out, while the badass sorceress by his side stands like a strong, normal, healthy human, you know,
like a strong, normal.
That's it.
I'm digging that. I like that a lot. Yeah. I often like those photos online of like redrawing male superheroes wearing female superhero costumes.
Totally.
And that's sort of like that, but more about posture. I'm into it.
Have you guys seen that thing where they replace Quiet from Metal Gear Solid with Ocelot? And she does this. There's a scene in that game, and Quiet is already a ridiculous character, but she she drinks through her skin. It's canonical, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, so she removes her clothing and dances in the rain and rolls around in it. So watching Revolver Ocelot do that is pretty awesome.
She's just thirsty, man.
Yeah, that's how she drinks. It's canon, okay? Their hands were tied.
I can't believe how similar mine is to the Twitter idea. It's quite similar. Here we go. It's more of a computer program than a video game, but my idea is to make a Twitter bot that combs Twitter profiles for men who support sexist hashtags like men's rights and Gamergate. And once the bot finds those accounts, it will automatically Photoshop that profile photo onto the face of a baby wearing a big poopy diaper and then tweet that image to all of their followers with the caption, "I love to be a little stinky baby." And then I thought, because there's not a lot of interactivity there, right?
No.
I thought you could choose different images for the profile photos to be photoshopped onto. So instead of a poopy baby, you could maybe it's a dumpster behind a seafood restaurant or something like that.
Nice. I think half our audience just clicked off and is immediately typing very mean things about us, possibly on Twitter.
But I think you stick with the Stinky Baby one because I like the idea that a video game can replace. Can make a new moniker for men's rights activists as Stinky Baby.
Oh man. Hey, man,
there you go.
What's wrong with my rights, all right, dude?
That's fair. All right.
Hey,
okay.
it's tongue in cheek. It's tongue in cheek, guys.
Tongue in cheek, people.
Yeah. All right.
Well, guys, that's just about it. What did I want to say? What else did I want to say here? Okay. Well, that was our first episode. And we want to make many more. So please leave a comment, a like, a rating wherever you're seeing or listening to this, and tell us what you think. Do remember that Kyle is very sensitive, and that our political leanings are tongue in cheek. But that's pretty much it. For each of these pitches, please go to watchmojo.com/suggest and find the PvP episode 1 page to vote on which pitch you think should get the green light and tell us why, or tell us in the comments wherever you're seeing this. Once again, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Kyle.
I'm not sensitive. You can go hard on me, guys. Just bring it. I want this to pop off. Let's start a flame war. Fucking bring it.
Go hard on him like he was Neil Armstrong circling the moon, all right? Just go full Aldrin on him.
Michael Collins me.
That's right. Thanks to Kyle and Dan and Manny, our director. We'll see you next time on PvP Pitch versus Pitch. Woo!
Yeah, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching Mojo Plays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.